Hey, hey, hey. Happy Friday. I hope everyone is doing well. So, we are doing Faithful Friday tonight. So we are going to be doing some Bible art tonight and devotional, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Many of you guys have expressed wanting me to do some of that. So tonight is the night that we're going to do that. We're going to be working on Proverbs 19:21 tonight, and I am going to be working in my my Illustrating Bible by Dayspring, but you can work in any art Bible that you choose, so don't feel like you have to use the same Bible that I'm using. It's very important. You can also just do it on a piece of paper. You can do, however you choose to do that is fine. I don't want you to feel like you have to use the same stuff that I'm using. This is all about just having fun, like creating and worshiping and studying all in one. So the Bible that I'll be using is going to be this one right here, which is a very large art Bible. That is what I normally do my Bible art on. So feel free to use any Bible that you want. I have several art Bibles that I use. This is a normal size Bible, and I also use it for a lot of my art as well. And it's got a bottom area on it. It doesn't even have like a side margin. So, you can do however you choose to. Again, whatever Bible you want to use. This one, just so I want you guys to see that you don't have to have, an art Bible to do art. You can use a standard Bible as well, okay? I would say that don't use your study Bible. So your day-to-day Bible. If you have a day-to-day Bible, then do it on a separate sheet of paper, and then you can add it into your Bible if you choose to. Because that is what I do. And this is my study Bible. This is my church Bible, the one I take to church. And I just do all of anything that I want to do in that Bible, I insert into my Bible. And that way I'm not covering my pages. So if you are using your regular study day-to-day church Bible, then I'm going to tell you to put it into, do it on a separate sheet of paper, and then you can just insert it. It's very easy to insert it. It'll stay in. As you can see, I'm jerking on this and it's not coming out. So you can insert it and do that as well. Okay. So I want everybody to understand that you don't have to have, the Bible that I'm using. Okay. I do have it in my list. If you guys are interested in seeing this Bible and what it is definitely, in there. It's products number 1 and number 2 are there. And that's the Bible that I'm using, but you certainly do not have to. I have had this Bible for probably 6 to 7 years, and the only thing I use this Bible for is my art Bible. So that is what I use this Bible for, okay? And that's what I'm going to be working on tonight. And I'm going to give you guys an overhead view so you can see it a little bit better. But I wanted you guys to, be able to understand that you don't have to have this one, okay? That's super important. I want you guys to do whatever you have on hand is fine. Okay? So hopefully you guys will join me tonight, even if it is just to hang out and watch and kind of see how, what Bible art is all about. And if you want to join us, that'd be great. If not, that's okay too. Not going to make me a hill of beans one way or another. We're going to have fun either way. So again, the Bible that I'm using is going to be this Bible right here. This is the exact one that I'm using. And I use this for all of my art. This is not my study Bible. So before y'all come at me in the comments and be like, you can't read it. Okay, I highlight the verse and I don't worry about the rest because this is just simply my art Bible. This is not my study Bible that I use, that I take to church or anything like that. This Bible is much too big and bulky to be something I would carry around with me. This is just something that I like to do as I'm studying. Okay, so you can see here, I highlight the verse that I'm working on, and then the art goes around that. So that's kind of how I do that. You don't have to do it that way, but that just happens to be how I do it. So, and you will see that, you know, I do that quite frequently. So this was another one. Let me see. There's one. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to flip this with one hand and hold the camera with the other so you'll have a better view. But I want you guys to be able to see how that works. Okay. All right. So there's that. This one was the jars of clay. Okay. So we're going to be working on, Proverbs 19 verse 21 tonight. And so I'm going to flip to that and we're going to get going on this. It's all about purpose. And I think it's important to understand that, you know, we make a lot of plans in our lifetime, but it's not always the same plans that God has for us. And so he will definitely derail those plans if he wants to keep us on track for what he's doing. And so this verse says this verse says, many plans are in a person's heart, but the Lord's decrees will prevail. That means God is going to do what he wants, and we don't really have much to say about it. And of course, he loves us and listens to us, but he is only good, and the only thing he is going to do is make sure that everything that we do in that happens is going to be for our good. So that is what we are going to be working on tonight. So I'm going to give you guys this overhead view so you guys can see. Please comment if you have any questions or you want to add to our discussion tonight. I don't plan my Bible journaling out. I just basically let God do that for me. So the very first thing that I'm going to do tonight, though, is cover the verse that we are going to be using in washi tape so I don't accidentally cover over it as I'm doing my art. And then I will undo that at the end when I am finished to reveal that verse. So I'm going to go ahead and cover that. So I'm just going to take some washi tape and I'm going to put it over that verse. And I'm going to cut, I want to make sure that I get that. And I'm going to cut this. Let me cut that into a... Also, this Bible also has thicker paper than a normal Bible, which is nice because it doesn't tear or, I mean, it takes water, you know, from watercolors on much easier. So I really like that about it. Okay, so we are going to... And I love that it is designed for art. It gives you lots of space to paint and do. So I'm going to cover our verse up and we are going to get started. I'm going to do an art theme because and I'm going to do some lettering that says God created me for a purpose on here because I really feel very strongly that, you know, in the last few years of my life that I've had to kind of redefine my purpose because I've retired from 35 years of doing the same thing, coaching gymnastics. And that has been kind of my purpose for a very long time, working with kids. And now I'm not doing that anymore. So I feel like that's been one of those things that I've really struggled with is finding my purpose again. Mass Mom, we're doing Proverbs 19, verse 21. Proverbs 19, verse 21. And so I'm doing kind of an art theme on this because I feel like that is really where I'm at right now in this season of my life. So I'm going to do like an art palette. And then I'm going to do maybe a brush over here, or a couple of brushes over here, and an art palette right here. And then I'm going to do my lettering right here. So that's kind of the plan. So I don't know. I may bring my brush through the scriptures like this and like have part of it over here and part of it coming out here, and then the scripture being on top of that. I think that might be kind of cool. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the brush part of it. And I'm just going to, you know, kind of make the end of a paintbrush here kind of come out. And make it, I want it to be kind of messy. My desk is not conducive right now to this giant Bible. I don't always use this one, and it's very, very, I have to be careful when I turn it. So I'm going to have to draw from a certain angle, which is going to be difficult for me tonight, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, but I want to make this, you know, look like the tip of a paintbrush. Like that. And then I'm going to draw my ferrule of my brush right here. And I'm going to do 2 of these little ferrule points. And then I'm going to bring that out like this. And I'm going to give myself another little metal part of my ferrule right there. And then I'm going to close this off and make my brush part come out like that. And then I'm going to bring it out over here. So it's going to come all the way out like this. And that is the end of my brush right there. Okay. Because I feel like right now, the season of life that I'm in, I know, Carrie, we are doing Faithful Friday. So my Wednesdays are Wild Card Wednesdays, where we do our card. And on Thursdays, we're doing our lettering lab, which is when we're doing some lettering stuff. And then on Fridays, we're doing what I call Faithful Fridays, and we're doing Bible art. And so this is my illustrating Bible, which is, I've got it pinned below if you can see there. That's the Bible that I'm using. But I was showing everybody that you don't have to do it in that Bible. You can have, just don't do it in your study Bible, because obviously you need to be able to read that Bible. So the Bible that you use daily, you don't want to do that in. But you can use a regular Bible as well to do this kind of art in. You can use a... this one has like the bottom areas that's open to do art. It's kind of a journaling Bible, so you don't have to have, I don't know, I was going to open it so you could see it. So like I do, you know, across the bottom here. You can also do it on like a separate sheet of paper, like a separate piece of art paper or whatever. And, you can, like this is how I do my other, this is my study Bible. So when I do my devotionals in the mornings, my study, and also my, this is a Sunday notes from the sermon last Sunday. So I just put those, I do it on a separate sheet, and then I insert it into my Bible. So all of my daily devotional studies and all of that kind of stuff goes in my study Bible. So if you want to put it in your study Bible, you want to do your art on a separate sheet of paper. This is just regular typing paper that I cut in half, and I do it on there, and then I just insert it into my Bible, and it stays in there. And then I put, as you can see, I put a piece of washi tape on the pages that I have inserts in, so I can find them easily if I want to, although I'm very behind on putting washi tape on. I have a lot more inserts than I have washi tape, but you can see that, and I use stickers, and I use markers and I use stencils and, you know, all kinds of stuff to do this. And then you can, like I said, you just stick it in there. So you can do it that way as well. It should be pinned below. Is it not pinned, Carrie? Oh, I add the page with just regular glue. I use this Dollar Tree glue. And I just rub it across the edge of the paper and I stick it down in the edge and I close it up and I'll let it dry. Give it like 5 minutes to dry and it stays in there really, really nice and tight. So what I do is I take, so I would put it on the edge of the paper and then I make sure it's, my binding is really, really open. But here, I'll unpin it and try it again. Let me see. Okay, how about now? Is it up there now? Should be. I put it way down it, you know, once I put the glue on it, I stick it down in there and I just make sure that I press the spine and down and close it up and then I just leave it there for about 5 minutes. So, but this particular Bible is designed specifically for art. Okay, it's designed as an art Bible. So the paper is much thicker than a normal Bible. It's thicker paper. And so you can put paint and water on it much, much better than a regular Bible. So that is why I use this one for my art Bible. I've had this Bible probably 6 or 7 years. I absolutely love this Bible and I use it exclusively for art. So anytime I'm doing any kind of art, it goes in this Bible. So this is I love, love, love this Bible. And it was quite pricey, honestly. But let me tell you something. It was worth it. I mean, like I said, I've had it for about 7 years. The price here that's pinned below is way, way less than what I paid for mine. But again, I got mine 7 years ago and I'm telling you, it's a great art Bible to have. Especially because the paper's not that thin Bible paper that you normally get in a Bible. So you can put more on it. Now, generally what I will do is I will do if I'm doing anything that is like heavy duty, I will put gesso on the paper first. And then I will do my art. I'll do a layer of clear gesso. But because I'm going to be using colored pencil tonight instead of watercolor or acrylic or anything like that, because I'm doing that, I'm not putting gesso on the page. I'm leaving it the way that it is. So if you're going to use, like, for instance, I used inks on this page, so I did put gesso on this because I needed to be I wanted it to stick better. Gesso, Shelly, is like it looks like this, okay? And it simply gives you a layer over your paper that makes it closer to canvas rather than just paper. So it just kind of helps things to stick a little better than what they do, you know, than just on paper. So it kind of gives it a protective coating, for lack of a better term. But it just preps your surface. So it's a really good surface prep. And you can get it in black, you can get it in white, you can get it in clear. And generally I'll do a clear gesso on here if I need to. But like I said, I don't need to tonight because we're doing, I'm planning on using my colored pencils tonight. So that, or at least that's the plan, unless it changes. You know, God might lead me to use something else, but for now, he's got my mind on colored pencils. So that's what I plan to use. And y'all, just so you know, this Bible, they have it in different colors. Here's the pink version. I really like the pink. It's beautiful. They didn't have the pink available when I first bought this one. The only one they had available was this green. And honestly, I had to wait 2 months to get this because they were out of stock and on back order forever. These were super popular when they first came out. And now, you know, you can get it in all kinds of colors, but because I already started in the green, that's the one I've kept working in, and I love this Bible. So we're talking about Proverbs 19:21, which is all about purpose, and basically talks about how even though we have plans in our lifetime and we make plans for our lives, it doesn't always work out that way. God sometimes has a better plan for that. And so that is kind of what we're doing. And my purpose right now, I'm kind of going through this transitional phase of my life and finding a new purpose. And so I'm going to do this based on, you know, I'm currently, art is my new source of, you know, income, and that is my new job. Whereas before it was teaching children and teaching gymnastics. And so it's really, really changed a lot. And so I want to kind of document that. And God is so good, because I've prayed for so long to be able to stay home and work from my studio and all the things. And he has been so good to allow me to do that. And so I really want to just spend tonight creating this beautiful art piece about purpose and being appreciative and thankful for his goodness in that area, and allowing me to get to a point where I can actually work from my studio and do those things. So that is what I'm working on tonight. So that is kind of how we're going to do tonight's Faithful Friday. All right, so we've drawn our paintbrush here. I'm going to draw a pencil, or maybe a couple of pencils here. I'm going to give myself an eraser. And I'm going to, let me make sure I'm in screen. Okay. And I'm going to give myself the little, actually that's angle is a little bit too much, because it needs to come down the page. So we're going to go here with our eraser and give ourselves the little metal part of the pencil. And then we're going to bring that all the way down the page. Honestly, I think I need a ruler to do this pencil. I don't have a steady enough hand to do my line as straight as I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and get my ruler out for that, which I have right here. And I'm going to make that a straight edge down, and another straight edge. I don't want it to be crooked here. And we're going to make our little pencil sharpener marks here. And I'm going to give myself an angle right there where my lead goes. And then we want to give ourselves a little bit of a, you know, that little bend that comes in the pencil. So we'll do that right here. Sorry, I know that my arm's in the way. Hang on one second. And you can see. There we go. So there's my first pencil. I'm going to make our little squiggle there and lines. Okay, so there's our first pencil. We'll start, we'll go here with a second pencil. So we'll have two colored pencils. One thing I will say about this is I like to, it's easier if you fold this in half, because you have a little bit more working room. I was afraid that might be too close to the camera, but I still think y'all can see with me folding it in half. It's easier to draw on this when it's folded in half. So I'm going to fold it in half so that it makes it a little easier for me to maneuver on my desk. And that way, put our little metal part of our pencil here. Our squiggly part of the pencil there. That's a technical art term. And then we'll do our straight edge again, and it will come straight down. It's going to come to the pencil and stop. Right here to the brush and stop, and then here. Okay. And then the same way here. We'll go up and up. Just like that. And I'm going to do our little squiggly again, our tip, and our lead. And then we do our side little dent in our pencil right here. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. Perfect. All right, so now we have our two little colored pencils there. And we are going to, and another thing that I do is, for those of you who came in late, I always put a piece of washi tape over the verse I'm working on, so don't accidentally cover that up with paint. And then at the end, I'll peel that off, so that'll kind of be highlighted outside of, you know, everything else, because we don't want, you know, we don't want that to be accidentally covered up. I need to bring this all the way up to make sure that that comes out where I want it to. There we go. Okay. All right, so there's the brush. There's the two pencils. Let's do an art palette with some colors. So that's going to be basically kind of an oval right here. I'm going to come around and in, and then bring this in, kind of like that. Except this should be smaller, so let me fix that. So we're going to come, I'll make this bigger. There we go. That's much better. Put our little circle in the middle, and we're going to make our paint blobs here. So we're going to go here with paint, here with paint, here with paint. Okay. All right, so there's our palette. And then here is where we're going to do our lettering. Okay. All right, so our lettering, we are going to do, I'm going to do God in large block lettering. So when I'm doing blocks, I like to do a thin letter first, and then I go around it. But I didn't center that, so let me redo that. I want to make sure it's centered. I'm kind of weird about how my lettering is done. So, and lettering is my weakest part. So that's the one I struggle with the most, is lettering. Okay, so now what I would do is I would go around this like this. And then I'm going to just go in and erase that center. And if I struggle with getting that to disappear, then I'll use my bigger eraser, which I'm kind of struggling with that. So make sure that's gone good. Although I'll use a darker color, so it's not going to really matter, but I'll just redraw that. Which I'm going to end up using a kneaded eraser to lighten these up anyway. Okay, so I have my first one, and I'm going to go like this. And then I'm going to go around like this. I'm going to erase that center. Okay. And then I'll do the same thing to the D. Hang on one second. It is way too quiet in here this evening. What do you guys think? I want to make sure that we have some music going. So it's not so quiet. Okay. All right. So now we're going to go again around the outside of that initial D that I designed, and then on the inside, and then erase the center. That way, if your single line letters are close to the same, then your block letters, by outlining them, will also be close to the same. And you will have a good like ratio of your block letters. Okay, so that is how I want that to look. Me too, Carrie, but you can do it on a piece of paper. Your letters always look so good. See, that's crazy, Carrie, because lettering is my worst. Okay, the whole phrase that we're going to put on the page is going to be God created me for a purpose. And I'm going to do God, and then created I'm going to do in a cursive font. Me, I'm going to do in a capital font, but thin. 4A is going to be in a cursive font, and then purpose is going to be block, but not quite as big as God. So it's going to be a block, it's going to fit like block letters from here. I might go across, but I think I'm probably not. I'll probably end up doing it here. So that's the plan. So hopefully that helps. I'm trying to think too, like some art things that we could put maybe up here in the corner. Maybe I'll put another paintbrush up here, or I could draw an eraser maybe up here. Lord knows that I have to use my eraser all the time. All right, so we're going to go, so created is going to go right here. So I'm going to go, in cursive. Okay, so created. My C needs to be fixed. It was a little off. There. Okay, so created. And then me is going to be over here in big capital. But they're going to be, I'm going to make that a little bit thicker, but not like this thick, if that makes any sense at all. Me. And then for A, I'm going to put right here in cursive. So I'm going to do 4. Oh, I messed that up. I'm telling you guys I struggle so much with my handwriting. All right, so we're going to try that again. I'm going to go 4 big. I don't like the R. Nope. Still don't like it. Carrie, you spoke too soon. 4 there. And then A is just going to be my A. Okay, so 4A, and then we're going to do purpose right here. So I am going to have, I'm not going to run into that brush, which is good, but it's going to leave me with some space under here, so I'm not sure what I might put there. Maybe I'll draw a paint tube. I'd have to look up what that's going to look like, or pull one out. I could pull this out and see. Maybe I could draw that, like right here or something. Okay, so let's do purpose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go purpose. Sorry, I'm having to really concentrate to do these letters. I am not good at lettering. All right. And I'm for sure not good at matching, so my P's are going to look different. But I'm going to just do the best I can. Okay, now the S is where I'm going to struggle with, you guys. So normally when I do the S, I think I'm going to do, I need to do a small here and a big here. And then come around like this. Oh, that was close. It's a little too tall, but it wasn't bad considering I always struggle with S's. Okay, and then E. Hey, Stacy Lee. Oh, that's a good idea. A big tag. That's a great idea. All right. Okay, so there's purpose. Okay, and then right here we have just enough room, I think, to do a like a paint tube or something. Let me see. I'm not even sure how to draw that, but I feel like I can sort of. Let me see if I can find something to kind of look at that might help me see how to do that. All right, so let's see if we can draw this. We're gonna go, I'm gonna turn it this way so I can get my hand at the right angle. And I'm gonna go, let's see. I'm gonna go across and across like this. And we're going to do the folded section. I'm going to bring this in like this. And we'll do a folded section that kind of comes out. Hang on. See if I can do this right. I'll go folded, and then this is going to kind of come out and down right here, like that. And let's make this more rounded, like that. I kind of made this tube a little fat, so I'm going to make this less rigid. There we go. Okay, so we got that folded. And then here, we're gonna make this kind of round. It's gonna come in like this and out like that. Let me see. And then we wanna have the opening. Nope, that's going to come up further. Sorry, guys. I'm kind of... Let me see. Okay, we're going to come up like this. And then we're going to have that come around and be... and then we want, yeah, like that. More like that. And this is going to have some wrinkles right here. Some wrinkles right here, maybe through here a little bit. We can even put a color or a number on it if we want to. And then let's see. Maybe have it like kind of bend up like this. So it's kind of wrinkled there. Like that. And then we can do paint coming out of it like this. Yeah, that's close. Not bad. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's very, very close. Let me fix this right here a little bit. Okay, and let's write a color on there. I'm just gonna put, I wanna write something that's like, not necessarily a color that we would normally, well, let's just write, I don't know. Let's just write, I'm gonna write love. Like it's the color of love. Like we are pouring out love onto the people that we do art for, right? That makes sense. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so we have basically our sketch drawn, and we can always go in and add some other heart or some other art like elements if we choose to in other areas later. But let's go ahead and get, like, let's figure out kind of what this is going to look like first, and then we can decide if that's what we want to do. Okay, so now my initial plan was to do colored pencils, but now that I'm seeing the design, I really am thinking I might want to do watercolors on some of it and then do colored pencils. No, I probably don't. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think watercolor or colored pencils? What do you guys want to do? I think that either one will look great. First thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to use our waterproof pen. So I'm going to use my Grabby multi-liner. And I'm going to use the 005 and the 02, I think. So these two for now are what I'm going to use. And let's see, this is the 02. Hey, gunpowder and milkshakes, or Diane. Sometimes it comes out before it registers. You haven't missed it yet. We've just drawn it is all we've done. And we are working on Proverbs 19, verse 21, all about God's purposes and how sometimes we make plans for our life, but God decides to change those plans. So that's what we're working on. And I feel like that's appropriate for the way that my life has gone over the last 2 years. So, you know, my purpose has changed so much. And I really have had to find this whole new person that I was prior to, prior to retiring, because I've, retired from my old job, and I had that job since I was 17 years old, and now I'm 55 and I'm in a whole different place in life. I always like to put paper under here just in case it bleeds through. I don't care if it bleeds through. Like, this is not for museum quality art, or this is not for no mistakes, nothing like that. There are mistakes in this Bible. This is my art Bible, all the things. But I do like to put that under there just in case. Sometimes it'll catch that, and it'll keep it from ruining 2 pages. If it ruins this page on the back, then I just will do some darker art over it, or I won't worry about it. But that way it doesn't ruin this page as well. So I always put, this is cardstock, so I'm going to put that under there. And I think we're going to do, I think what I want to do is I'm going to use some pencil. I'm going to do pencil and watercolor, simply because I'm definitely going to need to use a pencil for the dark parts that I'm doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and trace this. So that, and remember, this is going to be we're going to need a waterproof pen, because we're going to do some watercolor on this. So make sure your pen is waterproof, okay? Y'all let me know if my head gets in the way. I have the overhead on, but it's above my head. So it's not normally it's in front of me and I can see what I'm doing, but right now I can't. So if my head gets in the way, y'all let me know. Yes, Diane, that's how I feel. Like, so what happened was, and I just have to tell you guys this story, because this is why I do this Bible art, because when I'm meditating on a verse, God shows and reminds me of all these things that he's done to answer prayers in my life. And what he did for me is that when I was probably 7 or 8, I decided my goal was to own and operate a gymnastics gym. That was my big goal, is I wanted to be a gymnastics gym owner. I was a gymnast all through elementary school, high school, junior high, everything. I started coaching when I was 15 and decided that I wanted to be a coach for the rest of my life. And I wanted to, really have an impact on kids like my coach did on me. And so, well, hopefully better. My coach was a little harder than I actually wanted to be, but he was still an amazing coach. And but I never truly believed in my heart of hearts that I would ever have the money to build a gym, because gymnastics is such an expensive sport. The equipment is unbelievably expensive. And it was one of those things. I'm going to change sizes to my larger size for this me section right here. But it was it's one of those sports where, like, gosh, it just cost so much money to build a gym. So when I was 17, I started teaching. I took the $350 that I got for my high school graduation, and I purchased my very first mat, my gymnastics mat. And I started teaching gymnastics in my mom's carport of her house with that one mat. Just private lessons, one-on-one. And that kind of grew, and I was able to kind of pay my way through college with that. And I ended up renting this small little building downtown for like $350 a month. And it was just a small little building where I taught tumbling and cheerleading and all of that. And eventually I did a business plan. My grandfather was so amazingly gracious, and he gave me some property to build a gym on, right? And it was right in the middle of town by the school. So it was a perfect location. And so I did a business plan, went to the bank, and I went, with this, I took almost a year to write and plan this business plan, right? And it was back in the 90s when women really didn't do a lot of business ownership. So it was early 90s. And business ownership. So it was early 90s. And the bank to get the money to build the gym, right? And I was just gung-ho, ready to go. I was just convinced that I was going to, just conquer the world, right? And they told me no, that there was no way that anyone could ever make a gymnastics gym work in our economy, in our town, because our town was like 100%, like it was like 85% on free lunch. Like it was a terrible demographics town. And I knew that I had to go an hour to take gymnastics outside of our town because there was no gymnastics gym in our town. So, so what I did was I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep trying. So I went to another bank and another bank and another bank. And so I ended up going to 11 different banks, all of whom told me no, that it was not doable, and that I was not going to be able to do this, right? So, of course, I was devastated. Well, my grandfather, who was an amazing man, self-made, had built his business from nothing when he was a teenager, truly loved and believed in me. And so he went to his bank and took my business plan and said, like, this is what she wants to do. It was like 4 hours from our town, this bank was, okay? So it wasn't like a local bank. And he said, if you guys will loan her the money to do it, I will co-sign her loan. And my grandfather honestly could have given me the money to do it because he had it, but he always taught us hard work and, that kind of stuff. So, so he co-signed on my loan for me. And they said, if I pay it on time for the first 5 years, that after that, they would refinance it for me under my name. So that's how I built my gym, right? So I built this 10,000 square foot Olympic training facility. And I can remember standing upstairs the night before we opened. And I remember standing on the balcony looking down over this facility and just thanking God for the fact that he had given me exactly what I asked for. It makes me tear up just thinking about it because it was something that I never truly believed I was going to ever have. Now, the goal from that point forward was, right, to keep it open because, of course, they weren't lying when they said the demographics were terrible and people could not afford gymnastics. And so that for me was going to be a problem. So, and I did. I worked my tail end off the entire time I had that business, which was 35 years. So that business stayed open 35 years. And I can remember towards the end feeling so drained and so overwhelmed. I had taught tens of thousands of kids. I was on third generation kids coming to my gym. And it was one of those things where I was like, gosh, I'm so tired. And so I started praying for God to give me an exit strategy. And I felt guilty about that because he had given me exactly what I asked for, right? Like I said to him, I want this to be my life. And for 35 years, it was my life. Everybody in town, when they see me in town, it's Coachella, and I'm Coachella to everybody. Like nobody knows me other than Coachella because we live in a small town. So, so I felt really guilty for praying to get out. But you know, he gave me an exit, and it was a God thing. Like it went from like, your daughter went through junior level. Oh, okay. Junior level 7. Too many entries ended up. Yeah, that happens for sure. Yep. I was a JO 10. Now she coaches. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I love that. Yeah, so he gave me an out, and I was praying for this, right? So it happened, but when it happened, I was kind of like mad, but I wasn't, because I didn't realize what was happening at the time. I realized like God was taking this, I felt like God was taking away from me what I had worked so hard for. But in reality, what he was doing was answering my prayers to give me an exit strategy. It just wasn't what I planned it to be, right? Because like he says in this verse, you know, we make our own plans, but God is ultimately the person who decides that, right? So he had a plan for me to get out. It just wasn't the plan that I had. So instead of me being grateful that he gave me the opportunity to get out of it in a way that continued the legacy of the gym being here in our town, I was mad at him because I felt like he had taken away from me what I had asked for, right? Oh, girl, Carrie, no way I would go elite. That's too much testing and too much time, and it was just way too much. You got to go through like all kinds of competitions and tests, and I just wasn't ready for that. Like it was not my goal. It was never my goal to really do that anyway. Like I really wanted to just enjoy the sport at that point in my career. Like I was tired. My senior year, about halfway through my senior year is when I quit and started just like focusing on building a gym or becoming a coach. But anyway, I just was kind of mad at God, and I was like, why did you take this all away from me? And the thing is that, he didn't take it away from me. He literally said yes to the prayers that I had been praying. It just wasn't the way that I saw it happening. And because it wasn't the way that I saw it happening, I felt like he was not answering my prayers. He was taking things from me. And that is not at all how it worked. And now that I look back on it, now that it's been 2 years, and I can look back on it and see like exactly what he did, I realized that. But at the time, I was like angry with God about it, you know? And so it's just like this perfect example of how God can answer your prayers. And even in the midst of him saying yes, sometimes we don't see it like that. And then we get upset with him and think that we're being punished. And that was so far from the truth, but so what I believed at the time. And I am just so grateful now that he has these amazing women who purchased the business from me that are just flourishing, and they're doing wonderful work in our community. One of the girls was my team director at the time that we sold the business. And so she already knew how it worked, and she didn't have, like, nothing changed. It was such a smooth transition. And it's just, I'm just so grateful that God didn't give me what I wanted in the way that I wanted it, but instead did it his way. Because, you know, that helped make things work out for all involved and not just me. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm also really grateful that he kind of forced me to go into this season of not knowing who I was, because for a full year, I had to kind of like decide, like, what is my identity now? Because I'm no longer Coach Ellen. I no longer am a business owner. I no longer, you know, have this facility that I built from the ground up. I mean, I still have the building and land. They lease it from me, but I sold the business. And so I've been, you know, it was kind of one of those things where you're like, what do you do next? And so I was in a situation where I felt like I had no purpose for a very long, long time. And I'm so thankful that God did that for me too, because it made me kind of realize that I had to find my identity in Christ and not in what I did for a living. And that is sometimes very, very difficult to do. So that was also a big lesson that I learned through it all, in that, you know, we don't always know that God's plan is so much better than the plans that we have, and yet we fight him with every fiber of our being when we don't get it, when it's not working out exactly the way that we planned. But his is so much better. Even though at the time, sometimes it can be painful and not seem like it's better, it so is. So anyway, there's kind of a little bit about my situation and why I felt like this verse was a great first Faithful Friday to start out with. Yes, Mass Mom, amen to that. So I'm just tracing all of this right now with my waterproof pen so that we can start adding color. All right. And I'm going to, I really think, I originally was going to use colored pencils, but I really am leaning more towards doing watercolor. So I think I'm going to, I don't know what it is about watercolor, y'all. I just love it so much. And it's just, for me, such an easy medium to work with that I just don't, it's hard for me to stray from it. Erase all my pencil lines here and give this some of those wrinkles. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit that. There we go. All right. Okay. All right, and we'll do the colored pencils in a minute. Let's go ahead and get going on this one and start adding some color to it. I'm gonna use the what color? What am I gonna? I'm gonna use my Mead and tube watercolor paints to do this. So if you guys are wondering, any watercolor paints will do, or any colored pencils or any markers or whatever you want to use is fine. I'm going to be using my Mead brushes also. And probably, I might even use some of my detail brushes. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to need a detail brush tonight, but just in case you're wondering. These are the brushes that I'm using. Has 4 brushes in this set. It's a 1, 3, 5, and 7. And these are the brushes right here. Okay. So those are the brushes that I'm going to be using. If you guys are interested in knowing anything about these brushes, I can tell you that the ferrule is super tight. It will not rust. You don't get shedding with this brush. They're short, and you control your strokes really easy with them because of the short length of the handle. And also it's designed to reduce hand fatigue. So I love that. Also, they hold a ton of water, and they are absolutely my very favorite brush set. Let me grab some water here really quickly for my watercolor. I have to fill up my meat and paint toilet with some water so I can clean my brushes. You'll give me just a second to do that. I should have done that before I got on, but I forgot. And I'm almost out of water here. I'm going to have to fill my water bucket back up. I don't have running water out here in my studio. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do to start is I'm going to do good solid colors on each of my blobs, because those are not going to be mixed. They're going to be, when you put your paint onto your palette, you don't mix that paint generally. You mix it after. So they're going to be good solid colors. You're not going to have any kind of blend to them. Now, I will tell you this. This paper is not watercolor paper. It is thicker than normal Bible paper, but it is definitely not watercolor paper. So you will have wrinkling some with your paper when you do Bible art, and that's okay. It's for you. It's not for anybody. So you don't have to worry about that. And I'm just going to we're going to start with our red, and I'm just going to go around and do, the primary colors. And you want to make sure you obviously don't want to use a ton of water, because again, this paper is thin. So you're not going to use a ton of water like you can on watercolor paper, but you just want to use enough to get your color on the paper. And that is it. So I'm going to put my red in here first. Okay. And then I'm going to do my orange next. Again, not too much. I don't know, maybe yellow is second. I think it's orange before yellow, but anyway, we're going to do orange. Okay, so we're going to do our orange, then we're going to do yellow. And so, Carrie, you turned 50 last month. I embraced 50. I loved it when I turned 50. Like, I did a whole photo shoot with my grandkids or my grandson at the time. I didn't have a granddaughter at the time, but and we did a smash cake, and we just had so much fun. But let me tell you something. My body did not embrace 50. Menopause has just kicked my tail end more than I could possibly tell you guys. Because obviously coaching takes its toll on your body because you're lifting kids all day long, every day. But I was also a marathon runner too. And so my feet and hips and everything got abused. And I'm telling you, when I hit menopause, it started menopause when I was in my mid 40s, but when I hit full-fledged menopause in my 51, I mean, my body just went, nope, I'm done. And I started struggling with pain and hot flashes and just stuff that I have never dealt with in my whole life before. My feet, my hips, fatigue, I'm tired, all the, that kind of stuff. So I have struggled and struggled. So and I am a nutritionist, like my background, my degree is in nutrition and exercise physiology. Yeah, see, Diana, that's hard. It stinks so bad. But, so I ended up, trying every supplement known to man, all the things, right, to try to figure out what's going on. I've finally gotten a good regimen of a stack in the mornings, plus my patches that I use and things like that are all natural. I don't take any meds, but, I finally got all of that kind of situated, and that has been very helpful getting it finally kind of under control, because, whew, it has been rough. Okay, so red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and is it violet, pinkish violet, right? Okay, so we're going to go. You'd think I'd know this, guys. I'm an artist. I should know. All right, we're going to go blue next. So we're going to go with the blue, right? So guys, I guess my whole point in doing these Faithful Fridays is to, first of all, let you guys know that, I'm deeply spiritual when it comes to Jesus. I am deeply in love with him as my Lord and Savior. That is part of who I am at my core. I am not a huge fan of organized religion, if that makes any sense at all. So there's that. But also, it's not bad, Carrie. Blue, indigo, purple. I'm going to have to look up indigo. Hang on. Let me look that up right now so that I can make sure I use the right color. Indigo. Indigo. I need to see what color that is. Indigo. Okay, so it's kind of like almost a royal blue. I know I have it probably. I think this might be it. No, that's definitely not it. Hang on, let me find it. Oh, that's it. Okay. I love doing Bible art, and I guess I've been wanting to do it a while, but I just wasn't sure kind of how to incorporate it in. So now that we are, we've been doing our watercolor stuff for a while. All right. So this is what indigo is showing up on mine. I think that's pretty close. It's probably a little bit darker than this, but that's the closest I had. So, that's what I'm going to use. Hey, Martha. So, this paper holds up pretty good, Carrie. What happens is it does wrinkle a little. I'm careful not to put too much, water in it. But also I don't hold back either. If I need the water, I'll use it. The thing is that you want, oh wait, this might be better. Let me see what that is. That's about the same. All right. So there's my indigo. We're going to call this indigo, guys. Okay. Very cool, Martha. So yeah, so I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I mean, obviously, we've been doing a lot of ACEO art. We've been doing, but we've kind of gotten to know each other along the way, and with everybody that kind of hangs out with me every day. And so I'm super grateful for that. And you guys have made me feel like that I can use my platform in a bunch of different ways. And so that's why we've kind of changed up my lives to where we're doing different things each day. So on Mondays and Tuesdays, we're doing our regular, list art. So we have our list of things that you guys want to learn to paint right here. And the ACEOs. So we'll be doing those on Mondays and Tuesdays. And then on Wednesdays, we're going to be doing Wild Card Wednesday, which is going to be our card making Wednesday, which is going to be our card making day. And we're going to be doing watercolor cards so that by the end of the year, we will have almost, 50 cards done. And we can use those for whatever we need them for. They're going to be different kinds of cards. So we're going to do sympathy cards. We're going to do birthday cards. We're going to do thinking of you cards, all the things. And then on Thursdays, we're doing our lettering lab, which is going to be lettering art, so we can learn to letter and improve our lettering. And then on Fridays, we're going to be doing Faithful Fridays, so we'll be doing kind of a little Bible art and just kind of worshiping with the gifts that God gave us as far as our art goes. So that's my plan for now. That is, of course, subject to change as I'm pretty neurodivergent and I jump around all the time like crazy. So yay, Martha. Thank you so much for following me. I'll follow you back when I can get to my phone. My phone's above my head right now. So, but when I can, I'll make sure that I do that. So, all right. So now let's go ahead and do, I think what I want to do is I want all of this to be black and then I want this to be colored. So I think I'm going to go in with my black. Let me just see. Yeah, I'm going to go in with my black. And I'm going to fill this in with black. Whoop. Is that black? Oh, I think that's indigo. Well, we're going to use it. So I'm going to fill this in. So you'll get a little bit of wrinkling with this paper when you use a whole lot of water, but for the most part, it holds up pretty well. It's not the thin paper that's in a normal Bible. It's thicker than that. They make this Bible, obviously they can't make it too thick because it would be too heavy to carry. I mean, it's already giant and thick. So it's very bulky, but they did make the paper thick enough that you can do a lot more on it than you can do on a regular Bible. So, you can do, like I said, you can do a lot more. And you can see, I don't know if you can see the back, but there's a little bit of a bleed through, but not much. And it's not going to be anything that I can't do art over if I decide to do that back page. So, and when it's dry, it'll be even less of a bleed through. So I'll show you the back once everything's dry so you can see it. And the Bible that I'm using is number 1 in the shopping bag, but there's also several different colors available. Product number 2 is the pink version of this same Bible. And I even think they have like an orange, and I mean, I'm not sure what colors they have, but they have a lot of different colors. So I have the green because that was the original one, and I've had this Bible for way before TikTok was around. So I've had it a very long time. And I've done lots of art in this Bible and used lots of mediums. Now, I will tell you this too, Carrie. Like if you're using acrylic paint or anything like that, you will want to use gesso. Generally, I will prep my, if I'm using watercolors, I don't prep it because you want your watercolors to be able to be absorbed. But if I'm using like acrylic, or if I'm using inks or anything like that, I will prep my paper with a clear gesso. Martha, this is the Illustrating Bible from Dayspring. It's product number 1 in my shopping bag below. And that is the Bible that I'm using. But you can do this in any Bible. You don't have to use the one that I'm using. This is just my art Bible. It is not my daily study Bible. So before everybody comes to me and goes, you're not going to be able to study that Bible. It's got art all in it. You're right. I don't. This is not the Bible I study. This is the Bible that I use for art. Yes, Diane, then you and I are 2 kindred souls then, because I am super neurospicy. Okay. So now we have that. So now we're going to come and we're going to do our purpose, the letters, the words in purpose. And I think what I want to do with that is, I'm just going to do the same colors that I put in my palette. Because I want it to be cohesive. So I'm going to just use those same colors. And again, I used the Grabby multi-liner pens, so they're waterproof. So when I put water over this black, it's not going to smear. If you use a regular pen, you're going to be smearing your black all over your letters. So know that you need a watercolor or waterproof pen. Okay. All right. I'll go with orange. It is amazing though how God does he pulls things together that you don't even realize. Like you're like, this is not a yes to my prayer. He's punishing me. And then all of a sudden when it's all said and done and you've worked through it, you realize that it was a definite 100% yes to your prayer. It's just that it wasn't the way that you planned it. And because it wasn't the way you planned it out, then you're just like, what? This is not it. And then you find out God knew all along exactly what he was doing, and he didn't need our help at all. Nor did he need our plans. Right? All right, so we're going to go with green next. Now, I generally will get on my Glowforge and make me a clip to go on whatever pages I have art on. As you can see, I order some, but like this little rose is one that these came out when I opened my thing. Sometimes I'll just do a clip like this that's just a paper clip with some ribbon on it, and I'll just stick it on the page so I know, you know, I have a I have some art on that page. So the top of my Bible is kind of covered with like clips from different things, and I'll show you guys some of those in a minute. They're super cute. Some of them are crocheted from friends. Like I have one that's about camping, and I got this little camper clip, which is so cute. I have this little sunflower clip, which is super cute as well. I don't crochet. I did not make those. I got those from different people, so that is one thing I do not do is crochet. Okay. Now we'll do our indigo which is not necessarily really indigo, but I'm going to use it as indigo. Oh, that's definitely not it. Why am I not getting... There it is. Okay. Just needed more pigment, less water. Okay. And our purple or violet or whatever we want to call it. I was so careful to stay in the lines and then went out of the lines right there on that last one. That's all right, though. Okay, now as far as our paint goes, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this red because it is love. It's the color of love. So we're going to make it red to represent the blood of Christ, which is the ultimate love. That he completely shed for us so that we could have eternity with him. So that is going to be the color that I'm going to make this paint. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of, how do I want to do this? I think I'm going to leave the top white. I'm just going to do the tube with the red. I think I could have done this with colored pencils, but this looks good the way it is. I'm going to go ahead and give it some shading right around the wrinkles. And around the inside of the swirly. Like that. Okay? Thanks, Stacy Lee. All right, now let's do the brush. We'll do the... I'm going to go ahead and go with the... the bristles first. We'll do those in the brown. And then we'll do the gray for the ferrule. We'll make the ferrule gray. Then I'm just going to make the handle of the brush. I'm going to do that in like a little, like a bluish aqua-y color, just because I like the color for no other reason than I just like this color. So I'm going to kind of go up into the words a little bit, and then I'm going to come up here. Let me erase this pencil mark that I didn't erase just yet before I paint on it. And then we'll go make that. And that continues the brush. And that just brings the words in front of the brush. Yeah? All right, so now let's go ahead and outline these pencils. And I'm going to use my straight edge again to do that because it is way, way easier than trying to draw it myself. Okay. Oh, hang on. There. Okay. And then this one right here. So this is a lot less teachy, for lack of a better word. It's not really a tutorial. You just kind of do your own thing. And us just kind of hang out and talk about how amazing Jesus is. All right, so let me get this one. See how much easier it is for me to move this around when it's folded in half? It is a very bulky Bible, in case you guys don't realize that. If you are, I mean, it's designed specifically for art, so I do love it for that purpose. But just so you guys know, it is for sure bulky. I keep it in the original box that it came in, and I keep it in my cabinet, and I just pull it out when I'm ready to do Bible art. So okay. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and do our little squiggly and our eraser. And our tip. Okay. All right. So now we have that outlined. I am going to use my little, my 005 to do these little emphases on any areas that I wanted those to look. And then we're going to go through, and I'm going to make this a, let's see, what colors do I want to do? I'm going to do a pink and a purple. So I'm going to do a pink, and it's going to be a light pink pencil. And there was no rhyme or reason in choosing those colors. I just like pink and purple, so those are what I'm using for this. Okay, make the tip. Oh, let me erase that really fast. make the lead pink. Okay, and probably the eraser is that same pink. Didn't really think that through, but this one too. Okay, rinse it. Yes, sorry, Diane, I just now saw it. Thank you so much for that purchase. Yes, yes, yes. Goodness gracious, you got some good stuff. You got some of the pens and the paints and the paper and the brushes. Holy cow. Oh, you got the pencils. Oh, I'm so excited that you're going to have those pencils. I'm excited, excited, excited for you. Thank you so much for that purchase too. I truly appreciate that. I appreciate that support. It really does help me out. This is my income. So anytime you guys should support my showcase, it is a huge help to my little family. So I'm grateful every single time I do a little happy dance. Anytime, and I didn't see that purchase come through because I was too busy caught up paying attention to what I'm doing. But yes, it showed up, and I am so thankful for that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You are going to love every bit of that too. You've been waiting. Yes. Well, if you need any tips or pointers, or you want to know how kind of I've built this business here on TikTok, I'm happy to help you. Reach out to me. There is no gatekeeping on my end. I mean, it just requires you to be consistent and not give up. I started in July of 24, and I have been making, consistently making enough to pay my bills since about September. So that's kind of where I started. And honestly, that's when I started doing my lives. And my lives are a really big, huge part of my income. So, I mean, not totally like my videos. Obviously, if you look on my page, you see that the majority of my videos are shoppable videos. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And that's definitely part of it as well. But I would say, my lives are an equal part of, it's probably equal. 50% video and 50% live. So my income would be significantly less if I did not do lives. But I just love getting on here and doing lives with you guys, though, even if I didn't, I mean, like, I haven't sold anything in the last 4 lives that I've done. They've just been us spending time together, and I don't care. It's not been like, it's been fine, but I'm really glad you purchased tonight. But yeah, it's definitely like some lives I don't ever sell anything, and that's fine too. I just enjoy getting on here with you guys. I've enjoyed creating this community and making friends with you guys. And, we talk in DMs all the time. Stacy and I talk almost every day, I think. Carrie and I talk a lot. And Carrie has sent me, we've done a trade. Carrie, I showed your trade. You weren't on my live the night that I showed your trade that you sent me. I love that trade. I love that ACEO. It is so gorgeous. And I am just so glad we got to do that trade. It's fun to do trades with people. So, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed trading. All right. I'm going to do a really light color for this, the wood and the pencil. Oh, that's not light. I lied, y'all. I told you a lie. Sorry. I will say this too. Watercolor doesn't pick up off this paper near as well as it does with regular watercolor paper. So we're just going to have to go with that. That's going to be the color of my pencils. I did love it, Carrie. It was awesome. Okay, so there we are. Now, the other thing that I would say is that you guys know I love splatter, so I'm going to go ahead and just maybe do a little bit of some splattering here and there with my different colors. I'm going to do some green. Whoops. Maybe over here. I'll do a little bit of purple. And maybe some yellow. Because I love doing splatters. Let's see what else. Let's do some orange. Okay. I think I'm going to leave it there. Like it. I'm going to dry this completely and then we'll peel that tape. I think, oh yeah. You know what? Let me tell you something, Diane. I made some mistakes when I first started on the Bay, and I'll tell you why. I didn't realize that they have an option for an envelope that is trackable that's like 74 cents. Instead of that expensive trackable $4.50 shipping. It's like nobody wanted to buy, you know, an ACEO for $1.99 and then pay $4.50 to ship it, right? So I had to figure that out on my own, and it was tough. So when you get ready to start doing that, let me know, because I'll show you how to do that. It's way better when they're not paying that much. So I set my shipping up at like $1.50, and that covers my envelope and my packaging, because I do really keep packaging too. So yeah, I'm happy to help with that. Okay, so now it's dry. Now what I'm going to do right here over this before I peel that tape is I'm going to get my inks, and I'm going to use my Ranger inks. I think I'm going to do this purple, okay, which is going to be my Wilted Violet. So I'm going to pull my sponge down for my Wilted Violet, which is going to be this one right here. And I'm going to go over this. I'm just going to kind of go around it like this so that it's highlighted. So when you look at the page, the focal point goes to that verse, right? So now I will pull my tape. Maybe. There we go. Ta-da! So now the focal point is on that verse. Okay, and that will complete our beautiful Bible journaling page, or Bible art page, for our first of hopefully many Faithful Fridays. So you guys tell me what you thought. I am excited about doing these. They're so fun. It won't always be on Friday evenings. Sometimes it'll be Friday mornings, but I had my grandkids this morning, so I couldn't do a morning time. So those of you who struggle with Friday evenings, then Friday mornings will sometimes be an option as well. All right, so that is super cute. It's all dry now, so I can show you guys the back. So if you see, the back looks pretty good. Like, I can definitely do art on the back of this page, and it's not going to affect Like it's not gonna, this is not gonna show through. There's very little ghosting from the watercolor. So, just so you know. And again, all of my little clips, I'm gonna put this little rose clip. I always put it backwards because when I close the Bible, then my clips will show from the front. Like, look at this cute little one right here. This was all about making, clear my path, and I did all these little glasses, and then I got this little clip right here that's a crocheted set of glasses, and that's what I used to clip on here. Isn't that super stinking cute, y'all? I love that. So cute. All right, so I have all of these clips that came off tonight, so I'm gonna have to flip through here and find out where they came from because they fell off when I pulled them out of my box tonight. So I'm gonna have to hunt them down, but that's all right. But these are all the ones that, also some of the clips that I have as well. And then this one I actually cut with my Glowforge out of acrylic and put it on here and clipped it in. So some of these I've made, some of them I've gotten off of the Bay and the other handmade site, so it just depends. So but for sure this one goes here. I'll put that on. Sorry guys, I'm just sticking these on so I have a chance to. And the crocheted ones, you always want, if you do get crocheted ones for some reason, make sure that you get the ones that have the big paper clips, because the little ones, they won't clip down very well. Even the bigger ones is hard, but they at least stay on the pages. So I'm just gonna stick these in here for now until I can find out where they go, because I'm not gonna do that tonight. But all right, so let me get back to what we just did so you guys can see it. So cute. Let me get this on here better. There we go. All right, so my clip is there, and there is our page for tonight. Many plans are in a person's heart, but the Lord's decree will prevail. Basically, what God is saying there is, hey, you might think you have a plan, but my plan is better, so watch this. And that's kind of what he does. So I love that. So you guys can see how crazy this binding is. So that's kind of what my art Bible looks like. Kind of a little bit of a mess. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's Faithful Friday. Thursday through Saturday, so I'll have to likely catch up. Oh, that's okay, Diana. I understand that. I mean, we have to do what we have to do, right? I'm so glad that you guys hung out with me tonight. And I will be doing some Friday evenings too. I'll probably honestly alternate depending on when I have my grandkids and when I don't. Because I do have them a lot on the weekends because my daughter's a wedding photographer. So obviously people get married on the weekends. So anyway, it'll just vary. So you'll have to just kind of pay attention on my lives that you do attend. And I'll let you know what my schedule is going to look like each week. So thank you, Mask Mom. Did you paint with us tonight? I hope that you did. You said you were doing a tag, right? I would love to see it. I hope you tag me in it if you post it, or send me a picture of it. I would love to see it and see how it turned out, because I love seeing you guys work and all the things that you guys do. So I hope that you guys will join me again. Can see the complete bulb card. I'm confused. Joanne, are you talking about the page that we did tonight? I'm sorry. I know that's probably a typo, and I'm just not being able to translate it the way that I need to. So but I'm happy to show you what we did tonight, if that's what you're wanting to see. Let me open it up and I'll show you. So this was what we did tonight. Y'all, it's so cute. It turned out great. I very much love it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you guys. It was so much fun. So on Fridays, this is what we'll be doing, is Bible art. So be sure you follow me if you haven't already. Set your notifications so that you know when I'm going to be live. Oh, the card. Okay, sorry. Yes. My bad. I was very confused, but now I totally get that. Yes, let me pull that out for you and you can see it. It turned out super cute too. Let's see. Let me pull it. It is right here. How stinking cute is that? I love the colors. Love, love, love it. So this was the Wednesday night that we did Wild Card Wednesday. And thank you so much, Joanne. And then last night we did the lettering lab, and we did a lettering tutorial, and it was on, let's see. Let me find it and I'll show you guys. We did this one in a melon. And I actually just added these later to the top page. So this kind of would all go together. But this is what we did on Thursday. It was the one in a melon. And that's going to always be, our Thursdays is going to be, our Thursdays is going to be a lettering art. Because I'm working on improving my lettering skills. So on Thursdays, we're going to be working on stuff that includes me having to do lettering. Because I have to get better at my lettering. So this book is the Funto journal, the Funto watercolor journal. And oh my gosh, it comes with two. It's right here. You get two of these for that price. So just FYI, it's not just one, you get two. And it is a 8.5 by 5.5 size. And it's a watercolor, and you actually get, like I said, you get two of them. And you can get them in different colors. I got purple, but they come in gray and all kinds of stuff. If you've not tried Funto journals, the paper in the Funto journals is really, really nice. I love, love, love the Funto journals. So, they are for sure worth it. Yeah, isn't it cute? Let me pull it. Let me turn it back to that. Yeah, super cute. Love it. I did this last night just for fun as well. I was practicing my lettering. And I'm working on this one right now. But I haven't finished it yet. So those are the ones I'm working on. But this one was the one we did for our lettering lab on Thursday. Okay. All right. Any other questions or anything that anybody wants to see before I hop off of here? Isn't it cute, Carrie? I love it. I love it so much. Yeah. I mean, my lettering is not perfect, but it's definitely getting better. I've really been practicing hard on improving my lettering. So you do those pages. Yes, we did this on Thursday. Yep, we did this one Thursday morning. Yep. And it'll be on my Tube of You. So the replay for this will be on my Tube of You. And every Thursday we'll be doing some form of lettering art. Also, any of my lives that I do here, I upload for replay. So if you've missed any of my lives and you want to go back and do those, they're uploaded. So this one isn't uploaded yet, but it will be up by the end of the weekend. This will be up. I know it. Work always gets in the way, doesn't it, Carrie? But don't worry, you have access to the replays every time. The watercolor pens the waterproof pens that I use are the Grabby multi-liners. They are right here. Let me pin them for you. They are right here. Now you can get them with just the black, like this, okay? Or you can get the set that is both the color and the black. So you can get all of the colors as well if you want colored. So you can do colors and black or just black. The ones I have pinned are just the black. And then the ones that are right here are the color and the black together, which is a 20-pack set. Okay, so this one right here is the one that is the 20-pack that's got the colored and the black in it. So either one of those. So product 34 is both the colored and the black. And right here, product number 11 is the one that is just black only. Okay. And those are the waterproof pens. And they keep, and they're also what I use for like all of my lining, you know, all of this work, any of my outlining, any of my dark lettering like this is all done with that. That way, if I have to put ink over the top of it, it doesn't smear. Okay. Yep. Those are really nice. Grabby makes a really good set. So I actually have two. I have the black. I have two of the black sets, and I have two of the colored sets of the Grabby. They're all the same, but they're the same sets. But Grabby actually sent me the two sets individually, and they sent me the big set of the colored and the black. They were really kind to send me that too. I'm so grateful for them for doing that. They were like, hey, can we send you this? And I was like, yes, because I needed a good waterproof pen and I really wanted to. I use microns and I love them, but these just tend to, they're a little bit fatter than the microns, so they're a little easier to work with in my, like, holding them when I'm writing and stuff. It seems like I don't shake as much when I'm using them because they're bigger. Not a lot bigger, but it's definitely noticeably bigger than the microns. So for me, anyway. All right. Any other questions from anybody before I hop off of here? I had so much fun tonight. I'm so glad you guys hung out with me and did the Bible art with me tonight. And I'll be back on Monday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So Monday morning, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll be doing one of the many things on our list that you guys have given me. This is our list that we have going right now. We finished our other one, so we started a new list. So I'm going to be picking something off of here on Monday at 10 a.m. and we're going to be painting it. Monday and Tuesday of this week, we did the egg bunny, and then we did the St. Patty's Day gnome. So these were the two that we did this week. So we'll be doing two more off this list on Monday and Tuesday of next week. So if anybody has any kind of anything to add to our list, you guys can always pop those in the comments and I'll put them on our list. Otherwise, I am going to say au revoir to you guys. And I will see you guys on Monday. I might pop on sometime this weekend, but I don't ever know. So a St. Patty's Day Wednesday night for our card. We could do a St. Patty's Day card maybe on Wednesday, Carrie. That might be nice. Colleen, thank you so much for your purchase. You're going to love those pens. Did you get the all black kit? Yeah, you're going to really like those. They're so nice, especially if you do a lot of watercolor work. They're great to have for watercolors. Yeah, Carrie, maybe Wednesday night I'll try to do like a St. Patty's Day card. I'll look up some things and see what I can come up with. Okay? Or maybe we'll do a card and we'll do something else too. I mean, cards don't seem to take as long as everything else, so I might have time to do both. So we'll see. For sure. All right. Any other questions? I hope that you guys had fun tonight. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun for me. All right. Well, I will see you guys then. You too, Diane. Have a good night. Hopefully I'll see you guys on Monday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. If I pop up this weekend and you happen to see me on, at least you don't have to stay for the whole thing, but definitely at least pop in and say hello if you see me on live. Give me a comment to push it out there to our people so that we can get on the FYP and we can get a lot of people in here. So that would be great. And that helps me out. So if you see me on live doing a pop-up that you're not expecting me to be, then at least drop me a comment and say, hey. Don't feel bad if you can't stay. It never hurts my feelings. All right, guys. Love y'all, and I will see you guys on Monday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Okay? All righty. Bye.